Are you asking me to say whether I feel sympathetic or not?
Very disturbing breaking news out of New York City for you right now. CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson.
Police in Pennsylvania today arrested a person of interest in the killing, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione.
How hard do you think it's going to be to get a jury for his trial?
I think, all right, so I guess you want to talk. So this brings to jury nullification. Let's say Luigi Mangione, he has a criminal case. Assuming he did it and that is him in the video, if he pleads not guilty and the jury all believes that he did it too, do they decide, hey, we're still not going to convict him because we're okay with his actions? If that happens, that is totally okay. It is not something that a court will overturn and say, look, he did it. What do you mean, jury? Jury nullification is part of our American civil and criminal justice system. Jury nullification essentially means that the jury decides the law was violated, but they don't care. It is not the taboo thing that you might think it is. Jury nullification. Boo! Prosecutors get worried about jury nullification because they want the jury to follow the law and convict. But jury nullification isn't something that's generally planned. What really happens is the jury, who's independent, who's honest, who's reliable, who is willing to follow the law, when they sit and take the oath, they start to hear things and they go, this isn't exactly what I thought it was. If y'all don't know who Dr. Kevorkian is, he was someone who would help people commit assisted suicide, end their lives. But the government doesn't allow that. Those jurors that got picked for his trials, which I believe there were 4 of them, fact check me in the comments here, 3 times in a row, he was found not guilty because the jury said, we don't think that should be a crime. During the 60s and 70s, white people were charged with crimes against black people. All white juries said, yeah, that guy did it, but we're not going to convict him. That's jury nullification. Jury nullification is not something that is routine or common, but it happens. It isn't a cloak and dagger, mysterious, crazy thing. It's something that just naturally happens, and our system allows for it. If the jury finds a criminal defendant not guilty, even if they didn't follow the law, the case is over. In a criminal case, there has to be a unanimous verdict to convict someone. Now, what happens if the jury can't be unanimous? They can't all agree to convict, or they all can't agree that the person is not guilty. Notice I didn't say innocent. I said not guilty. That is a hung jury. If there's a hung jury, the person can be tried again. If there's a hung jury the second time, they can be prosecuted again and again and again. Whether the state would use those resources to do that, that's another decision. If the state believes that they cannot find 12 jurors to all be unanimous, then they should give up. But keep in mind, district attorneys who control the prosecutors in the office and the budget strings need to do that wisely, and if they don't, they will be voted out. If a district attorney keeps authorizing his office or her office to bring charges and try a case over and over and over, at some point the public outcry is going to be, what are you doing? When I think of who's the perfect juror for the Luigi Mangione case, I'm looking for someone who knows nothing about health insurance, so maybe younger juror, someone who doesn't have any history of their family being sick or injured and having to use health insurance. People's experiences are going to be different in a way that they can relate to different people. I'm more middle of the road on this. I mean, to be honest, I see it with clients all the time. You know, I've had a client who was denied Vicodin pills after a surgery because he didn't have pre-approval for the Vicodin pills. People come at it from a personal perspective, right? They're saying, I'm really pissed off at what's happened to me, my family, and you are the antithesis of that. So when something bad happens to you, I've seen the extremes of calling the CEOs of health insurance companies mass murderers because they are choosing whether to give or not give treatment that someone may need to live. I 100,000,000,000% think health insurance should be provided through the federal government.
But Mike, the federal government sucks.
I think the government should provide and regulate things that you need to survive. You need water, you need energy. I think that health insurance, health care is a right you have as a person. The real question here, and if I'm the prosecutor, here's the question that I say in my opening statement. Assuming that he did it, right? Assuming that the proof is there, I think the question is, are we as a society going to allow people to deliver what they think is justice, to be judge, jury, and executioner? That is the question that really needs to be answered here. Depending on what facts come out, could I be sympathetic to Luigi Mangione? Maybe. But I'm never going to be the person that takes the leap and then says committing a crime against someone is acceptable. When you make that decision, though, to go and execute someone, have vigilante justice, you have to also accept the consequences. I think there are people out there that will say, I'm okay with what action he did. I'm okay with what he did. You have to also be okay with the penalty. I mean, action, consequence.